Well, the Biden administration marking a major milestone today after signing into law the nearly $2 trillion COVID relief bill. Today, the president and vice president spoke from the Rose Garden, saying they've delivered on their promise to the American people. NewsNation Washington correspondent Joe Khalil joins us now with more on what President Biden had to say. Joe.
Yeah, hey, Nicole. So, effectively, this is the beginning of what the White House is calling the Help is on the Way tour. They want to go through this $1.9 trillion COVID relief package, bring it out into the country, travel, and actually explain to people sort of point by point what is in this bill and how each of those measures is going to positively impact Americans' lives. And so doing this is going to be President Biden himself and Vice President Harris, along with their spouses and members of their cabinet as well. And you're going to see all of them in the next few weeks traveling and getting out into the country. Now, during this Rose Garden event today, President Biden called the package historic. He said it was transformational. And, there are certain parts of it that are already pretty well known, right? These stimulus checks, the unemployment benefits, a lot of people have heard of those. But there are a lot of components to this bill that have gotten less attention. The $3,000 child tax credits for parents. There are tax benefits for student loan borrowers. There are also protections in there for people who've lost their health benefits when they lost their jobs. So there's a lot in there that may actually need explaining. There's also another component to this. Allies of President Biden say that President Obama actually missed an opportunity back in 2009 to educate the public about his stimulus package, and they don't want President Biden making that same mistake this time around.
We're going to be traveling the country to speak directly to the American people about how this law is going to make a real difference in their lives and how help is here for them.
Now, we also did hear from, some regular Americans outside of Washington clearly paying less attention to the political back and forth that happens here in the nation's capital, and they are more focused on some of the real world impacts that this package is going to have.
I think there's too much pork in it, but I can't do anything about that. So I'll take my $1,400 stimulus and put it to good use.
Now, as this tour begins, they already have dates set in the schedule for visits to Pennsylvania, to Georgia, New Hampshire, and New Jersey. And Nicole, I'm sure that we're going to see more events on the schedule in the next couple of weeks.
Well, Joe, actually, while you were talking, the Treasury Department just said payments have started processing and people should start receiving them as soon as this weekend, which is great news. But Joe, before we let you go, we do want to point out, critics pointing out that the president has yet to actually hold a traditional press conference. So has he waited longer, would you say, than his predecessors?
Yeah, it's no doubt. President Biden hasn't held a press conference so far, and it's been now more than 50 days. So clearly well beyond some of his predecessors here. He has done events that are public. He has given remarks, and then sometimes reporters will shout one question, and sometimes he takes them. But in terms of a traditional press conference where he makes himself subject to questions from reporters, that hasn't happened yet. As part of the media, we'd like to see that happen. The White House has actually acknowledged that and said that by the end of the month, he is going to be holding his first one, but certainly a departure from the previous few administrations who held these types of press conferences more often, Nicole.
All right, absolutely. Joe Khalil reporting live for us tonight in D.C. Thank you.